Just wait a quick minute to see if everything loads up. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Or good afternoon. Wow, I'm in another world. Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Samuel Lombardo, the Executive Director, CEO, Visionary, and Agent of SL Models and Talent Agency, LLC. And I am doing a late night edition. It's not even going to be an hour long. I promised this to you, and so I wanted to do this tonight. In fact, I'm only on 3 platforms because I wanted to just discuss about our Community Stars program. This is where you will actually be able to learn about your learn about the I don't understand why none of that information that I put in there. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's under review. So anyway, tonight is a special on the Community Stars program so that you know what it is, what is entailed, what we're expecting of you, and so on. We will end with the price because we want you to understand that it's not just about the price thing, but why the price is the way that it is. Okay, before I get started with that, please, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, SL Models and Talent Agency, LLC. I am going to be shifting some of my videos and splitting them because there are some that are spiritual topics, well, spiritual and professional, and then there are some that are industry related, and then there's a little bit of training. So I want to try to start developing playlists so that everything is separated in its own compartments, because we have some big events coming up, and we don't want that to be confused with how the channel has been operating. Of course, the main reason why I was operating the channel that I was is to kind of help the dreamers, try to encourage them, but also to help them to realize why certain things are not fitting the way that they should. Or perhaps the main reason would be, making sure that they follow through when they are actually saying that they're going to do something. They are 2 different things. And you can kind of cloud yourself up, okay, if you're actually too focused on dreaming and not realizing if it actually aligns with you. Now, I'm even in a different setting. You probably don't realize that. Well, every so often you will when I move my arm. But I'm basically sitting by the window where all the sunlight comes in. And I'm also like, I'm not going to lie. As I'm doing this, I'm actually sitting on my bed. You would not know that without me telling you that. But in any case, here we go. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, SL Models and Talent Agency, LLC. Excuse me, I've been having like the allergy attack for a little bit today. A lot of pollen in the air. Thankfully, it wasn't half as bad, though. The health regimens that I began to do, and I'm on target with that, as well as my health and my weight, to say the least. Okay. Also, if you're interested in supporting the community of the SL Models and Tone Agency, and we are going to expand this a little bit more than what I'm doing right now, you could do so at www.patreon.com/SLMTA. Now, we have a lot going on. We are looking for sponsors. We are going to be looking for sponsors for our YouTube.tv series, season 1, coming up for our first contest, which I've already started to leak out. It does start on May 1st, and I have a wonderful, wonderful program. And the goal is to really affiliate ourselves with various brands. So if you are interested, we're going to talk about that tomorrow night, where I'm going to just have a whole 1-hour show just talking about the contest sponsorship, okay? So that there is no confusion there. Tonight, it's going to be about community stars, because there were quite a few people, believe it or not, as funny as this may seem, who have actually asked about this. And so I wanted to bring that to the attention. Those who are watching me now, thank you. Those who have supported the channel and is subscribing, thank you as well. And thank you to those who have supported the community at www.patreon.com/SLMTA. We appreciate your support there. Again, it starts at only $5 per month. And you are helping to pay the tuition for the SLMTA Community Stars program, which you're about to hear about in less than a minute. So we thank you for the support, and those who are actually going to listen to this later, which I'm sure you will, we thank you in advance, okay? And we look forward to your support. Okay. So SL Models and Tone Agency, as you last known, we're going to start here. We have decided that we wanted to separate the booking agency from the development. Now, next year, however, we are going to start the hiring process to begin January 15th for our arts program developer. Okay, this is going to be a person who will be in charge of developing everything that you've been seeing me develop. They will be in charge of doing that. Now, I'm able to do it with very little of a budget. So I'm very curious to see what we end up hiring and how they are able to do it. But we'll talk about that at another time. I just wanted to let you know I'm throwing it out there. And it does look to be that we're going to pay that as a salary. Again, that starts on January 15th, though. We are going to be starting July hires for recruitment and agents, okay? Because we are going to start opening our actual offices up. It's just that I was trying to figure out a way around how that was going to be done. But you must have experience being an agent, okay? Some of you, I'm kind of testing you out with the finder's fee. What does that mean? I'm paying you a finder's fee to help find the person that needs the booking. That's what we are basically going to be developing at this point. Okay, and then also there are a few other things that will be happening. But going back to community stars, because it is late and I only want to keep use up for not even an hour to discuss this. Community Stars is a separate program, but it's with our educational department listed under the Dreamers Division for the SL Models and Talent Agency LLC. Okay. So what it is we have a Dreamers Division, meaning we have new models and artists. They have the choice that they want to go ahead and have the education. Now, under the Community Stars, we also have what we call a 10-week, we have what we call a 10-week startup initiative, which leads you to all the training that you need up to convention with MAAI. So it would be MAAI related. Community Stars is not MAAI related. However, it does include MAAI in it. Okay, so I'll explain a little bit more about that as well. So we have two ways that you can join MAAI and live conventions starting in next year, but also we have a way that you can join the virtual showcase right now if you pay very, very close attention. And tomorrow night is going to be all about that particular way that you can do that. For tonight, however, we are focusing on the Community Stars program. So Community Stars, believe it or not, in its originality has been developed from a back burner plan called the Lombard Christian Arts Conservatory. What I've decided to do is to wait that out. I have a full 500-page plan on that conservatory because it's actually set up more like a actual college and university level with some conservatory in it for like the underage. But what I decided to do is pull from that to open Community Stars. So let me explain where it derived from. It had derived from the community for which what we have decided it would be the number one thing at the time was what could we do to get the average person involved in the performing arts? That was done. Okay, we kind of have a little bit of a different view on this now with the pandemic, but we wanted it to see how they can go and how it would be much less expensive, that they don't have to go through a bunch of schooling, but that we are able to help them along the way. So that was one of the reasons and how it was derived. Also, where I was located had a lot of very nice, not just dreamers, but just people that I didn't even think that they could actually do it. And then wanted it to have a way to actually showcase what they are really about. But there was no program as such to be able to provide the opportunity for showcase or to provide an opportunity to develop their skills, even if it was not for the performing arts or say for the arts period, just on a natural level that they could, improve who they really are. So Community Stars had derived from that. And then Community Stars is exactly what it is. It's stars that are developed. They are developed, trained performing artists, fine and performing artists who actually are coming from various diverse community, cultural, religion. It does not matter who you are. What matters is that you can actually showcase and stop wasting time with people that, you know, again, I hate to slip this in there, but I always do. You want to know how to, and believe me, by the time you're done there, you are going to learn how to not waste time with folks that do not want to give your attention, so that you're not sitting there wasting years on developing plans, okay, or developing different showcases, or sitting there trying to figure out like what you're going to do next. You would be able, this program will help that. And there are two levels to this program. There is the what I call the Community Stars, which is developed into two pieces: your audition readiness and your performance readiness, okay? And then you have your honorary or your master stars, which are those that are pro allegiance, that are seeking networking and ability or credibility to basically go out and begin their work. They actually do not just internships and things like that. They will be, there's a lot that they will be doing. So I'm going to break all of that down right now. Like I said, the Community Stars is it's really set up for educational purposes, for high-end awarded networking and exposure. That's what it's really all about, okay? So, well, first let's begin this. Usually what normally happens with the Community Stars program is you will go on the website. It's going to be called community-star.info. There we go, .info. And that is going to be a landing page where you are going to apply, and you will submit your audition. Yes, you still have to audition, folks. It's not over with, is because of that. The reason that we ask you to actually audition is so that we, for this purpose, for Community Stars, is to see what level you are at, so that we can determine where your education will begin. And I'm going to explain what you can apply for. So we have, under the beauty concierge, we have hair and makeup, we have designing for clothing, okay? And then we have the modeling, okay, as a whole. Then we have the fine arts. This is those who can show you how to create jewelry, paint, draw, and it even includes books. And under the career development, we're actually going to be linking our Lions Publishing and Productions under that, because we'll soon be opening up in 2022 our book publishing services, as well as services related to independent and or other type of musicians. Okay, but that's a whole nother story. I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, so that's what that part, the fine art division, would be doing. Then there's going to be the acting division. That could be those who work in the background. That could be the actors, and that could be theater and or film. Okay, and then there are the we have a program for dance, and you can choose what type of dance you are interested in, and there are about 17 items that you could pick from. I will caution you, though, that your primary will be your regular price. Your secondaries are always going to end up being about $950 per quarter. So if you want to learn another segment, you would actually, it's gonna add more money to the bill, but you will be able to do that if you had that interest. So there's that. Then we have the music division. The music division is very, very large. Okay, and we have a lot of people that are interested. In fact, if the registration picks up, we probably will not even accept any other applicants. But we have the voice performance division of Community Stars, and then we have like for various instruments, and there's a whole streamline of what each instrument is and what you need to do by memory and everything else. So voice mentorship is also included if you're interested in voice. Opera is a whole nother streamline, but opera is involved with it. That's actually, believe it or not, what's also included in music is making sure that you know theory, and that there are two history of musics involved with that department as well. So you would need to focus on those. And then there's arts administration, which is relative to its own separate pieces. So you might want to be a tour manager. You might want to manage actors. You may want to manage singers. Okay. These are all specific areas of which you want to apply for. And that is what your certification would be in the process of doing that. So that is what Community Stars is. Okay. It is a process. Now, let me explain to you a little bit of what you're going to be doing while you're in there. So we'll take the singer first, okay, because we want to make sure that we kind of equal everybody in understanding what's happening here. So for singers, it is still under the major component of music, meaning you will be doing musicianship 1, musicianship 2, musicianship 3. You will be doing musicology 1 and 2, which is the history of music, okay, or musicography, if you will. And then there are going to be a couple of other classes, but only 3 of them. Depending on what your situation is, you may be focused on the production side of things. So then you would want to see about monitoring and production, and therefore you do production. You would be doing licensing, entertainment law, and another one, something like that. These are the ones where it's very, very important. In the meantime, you're going to have a primary, which would probably be voice. You would be doing about 1 hour a week, training with a mentor with your voice. And then you're going to have a secondary, which it could be something like piano, organ, harp, or something like that. That is where you would be instructed by those individuals per quarter. Okay. So in the music column, where all the other ones are about $6,500, in the music column, it could easily be around $12,000, only because it's going to cost you $950 and it's a year program. So you're looking at about another, give or take, 33,000 or some dollar just on your secondary focus. Now some of you are probably asking why all this and everything else. So let me explain to you why. I'm sorry, I gotta move my foot out. Woo! It kind of it kind of hurts a little bit. That was the only thing I didn't like about like sitting like I am. Okay. Um. Oh, Lordy. All right. Let me explain to you about why it is important for you to want all of this. Okay. Now, for some of you, you probably realize that it's costing you nearly $80,000 to go through college to learn a lot of this. And my argument, and it's always been the same argument, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's the same argument, and it still is, that there are some things that a college can teach, and there's other things that the industry could teach, and that the college could just adapt to. And I feel like in the rightful position. Now, arts administration is a different thing, because I feel like that's set up really similar to business, but it's focused in the arts realm. Okay. But when it comes to like dancing and all that, I feel like more and more people are going to be hearing this message that I have, and it's just going to become a reality where colleges will probably want to develop some kind of a branding for certification rather than an actual degree. Now, there are some out there that at one point they spent, I don't know, 12 years studying dance and then became a professor. And, I feel like some things just kind of get out of hand. There are places where colleges, like you can still get your PhD or your doctorate degree and be able to still hone into your dancing curricular instead of actually sitting there, have to focus, like you're spending thousands of dollars on learning how to dance, the critique of dance and all this, but there's going to be a lot of you coming out of, at the bare minimum, just a year in this program, and you're going to be already knowing everything that pretty much the college has actually been training. And that's actually pretty interesting, coming from also the perspective of younger kids. There's going to be younger kids, and that's going to be our milestone. There's going to be younger kids that are going to be developed into the best that they can be, okay? And probably before they even reach high school, or it might be during their high school career, depending on when they sign up. Now, I will tell you, Community Stars does not allow anyone under the age of 12. We will not allow anyone under the age of 12. However, 13 to 18 high school level, they would be trained kind of like conservatory style. Okay, and it will be online. There will be face-to-face as well. The face-to-face, if you were to take the concept of the singing department, like the music department, face-to-face is going to be your secondary and your primary classes in front of a mentor. All right, that's where you're going to have that. Your just making sure I get this. Your theory classes and all that. It is policy by the SLMTA training division that community stars students are allowed to communicate with their instructors when necessary. And sometimes it's hard to email someone like, so for the F major, like unless you actually know what you're talking about and you could draw it out in an email somehow, it is probably going to be best that you get that. And we are also going to be looking for tutors. And if you do need a tutoring service, we will provide that, and we will see if there's enough sponsorship to help you get that, or if perhaps it will have to be added to your tuition. But either way, tutoring is set up to where a person can tutor you through that course face to face if necessary. But still, let's just say at the worst case scenario that you're getting all these classes, and I'm going to tell you how some of these classes are and what they are, so that you know why Community Stars is set up as tuition and not actually just a program, okay? It's not a school. We don't have like musicianship 101 or whatever the case may be. We may have musicianship 1, 2, 3, you know, things like that. But we don't have actual course numbers yet, because a lot of this stuff is going to be developed in our vocational school. And then the vocational school will become the conservatory later. And then I'll be able to get Lombard's Christian Arts Conservatory open, which would actually be the college level. But basically, ultimately, what you're doing is you're certifying yourself to the world, or you're actually verifying. Doing Community Stars, you are verifying who you are. And then doing the Master Stars, you're actually being certified, meaning that you're taking a lot of the master classes. You're going to be doing a lot of interning and practicum work. There's going to be a lot of go and do, not sitting around looking at books and things like that. However, you're still going to be looking at some books, and there will be some writing involved, entailed in that as well. Now, I kind of gave you a hint of what the cost was going to be, but let me explain to you how this is all going to be planned out going forward. So what's going to happen if we use, and the reason that I'm using the music division is because it's the most difficult and the most expensive in our training division. So I'm going to be honest there with that. I'm laughing at myself as I'm watching the time lapse on this thing, and I'm like moving my foot out of the way because I feel so chill, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I feel so chill. I'm just relaxing. It's just natural sitting here, interacting, if you will, while I'm explaining the program. It's gonna give you a lot of credibility. I'm gonna explain that in a minute as well. That's a good question. It's gonna give you a lot of credibility. It can make you or break you as a dreamer. Okay, because if you just drop out, people are gonna know that, because the clients and agents are going to be watching as you are going through all this. Now, I don't mean like they're physically watching you or they're going to be like looking at you, but they're going to be waiting for the next big thing to happen. Like in the music division, there are going to be about 5 recitals. You're going to have to plan for 5 recitals. That's your showcase part of it, okay, where you'll be showcasing. Now, we do pay for you to actually take a lot of your training and go and showcase at actual showcases, as long as they have the credibility for a very, very good, prosperous showcase. Like, for example, we are looking at showcases that only bring in legitimate agents, okay? And there are criteria. You can get that information on info or community-stars.info as well, where it's going to actually show. It's going to show you exactly what you need to do for criteria of being accepted as a showcase for our students to attend. And some of the requirements, I'm only going to list a couple of them. Well, some of them include the legitimacy of who's going to be involved. So we're going to be auditing you in the presence of who are the agents that are coming to the showcase, what's the process of the showcase. We're going to need to know, and also it cannot sell to to the community stars. SLMTA will pay, but you cannot sell to the community stars, if that makes sense. In the same way with our conventions, we actually, for conventions that we partnered with, what we are doing is, well, there's 2 ways you can go to convention. Through community stars, you actually have to pass at a 90% or above by the time you are done. In other words, at an A- level, okay? And you do get your grades after each class. Certain classes are longer than others. Some classes require you to do work, while others will ask you to do a lot of reading and testing. So, there's a lot to, you're going to be doing some real actual work, folks. This is real, okay? You're paying the tuition or whatever, then you don't want to waste your money and not do the work. Now, every time that we do a recital, the recital happens live. It's a live feed recital. Agents and clients are always looking at those recitals, or should I say at this point, only at this point, that they will be showing up. What we have is something similar to what our contest is going to look like, where agents and clients will be able to sign into their own portal and be able to see from their point of view what they are looking at in the development of you. So there's going to be a phase 1, there's going to be a phase 2, there's going to be a phase 3. So don't worry about phase 1, where you might have like 3 or 4 songs that you're trying to do by memory. You want to make sure that you have that. And again, the first couple of weeks, you're going to be working on memorization skills, and you actually are going to be required in your first class, because everybody has his first class. It's called, I'm trying to remember, something to do with memorization. And it's also your focus, your performance focus. Okay, so it's everything about what to expect before you even go in. All right. Now, the Community Stars program, it does have 5 recitals, and you also must be able to pass at least 2 showcases, and you would have to have a 90% or better in order to we will be the ones paying for the convention. Okay. So what will happen is everything is already added in your tuition as a whole, the travel and everything else. Am I going to say that everybody will be going? It depends. We hope that everybody will be able to go, but at the same time, there is that requirement that you have to do that because it's going to show up. So when you're at a 90% or above on anything, I mean, a lot of people want even higher than that, but a 90% or above does show some very good positive credibility. Okay, because to get a 90% or above in Community Stars requires you to only get maybe 2 Bs out of every single class that you'll ever take. C's are not even considered a thing at Community Stars. You cannot be C average in order to be able to get a 90%. It wouldn't work. So not unless you got 1 C and then the rest was A pluses with 1 A minus. In other words, you have to work even that much more harder. But that's why we test you in the very beginning. When you're in the music department, we need to know how much musicianship do you know? Do you know at least what the major and minor scales are? Do you know what the rhythm is? And there's going to be some questions at the end in your music program. You will be doing a final exam, but also you'll be doing an oral exam. In other words, you're going to be talking to us as if we don't know what we are talking about. You're going to tell us what you know. Okay, that's how that goes. And that's actually with every division, including arts administration. You're going to tell us how you develop a strategic plan. What are the steps to marketing? Why certain things are important, et cetera, et cetera. That is going to help us. Well, we'll ask questions and then you're going to answer is what you're going to do. But the questions are going to be as if we don't know nothing and you're telling us what it is. Okay, that's what it's going to be. Because it shows us that we are doing what we are supposed to do. Now you could probably wonder, why can't I get a booking when I'm in Community Stars? Well, there you go. Now you know why. Because it's not going to be easy, folks. You're going to be busy for some time. All right. I'm not going to say that it's easy. You're going to be auditioning like crazy. Oh my God, you don't even know about that piece of it. You're going to be actually like 5 recitals, 2 showcases. You're going to be training for 10 weeks to go to a convention. You're going to be doing photo shoots like they coming out of the moon and falling on you. I mean, and you cannot stop because every time you stop, it's a piece of the grade. By the way, each class has its grading criteria, but let me explain something. If you made it to convention in as a whole is 35% of the whole entire package, meaning 35%. If you don't attend, then you have just lost the whole entire everything that you did because you would not attend the convention. 35% of your whole thing. 15% for every photo shoot that you actually are like, no, I'm not going to do it. So you don't have an option to say, no, I'm not going to do it. Not when you're in the Community Stars. See, you're paying for this education. So take what you can get out of it and stop trying to In other words, you're going to have to make time for that. Now, I also said that it works with your schedule, and it does. It actually does work with your schedule. Now, I'm telling you certain things, like certain things that it is. I'm not saying that this is exactly like a college. It's nowhere near like a college where you get a degree or whatever. But what it is that we want to make sure that when you are being verified as such with high credibility, that you're being trained by the most respectful individuals in the industry, to a T, and your mentorship that you are listening and focusing. So like your musicianship classes, they may be, say, 12 weeks, because you don't want to take them all at one time. I'm going to tell you that right now. You will not have a life for yourself if you did that. But you're probably, that's going to be like your hardest thing. Now, as an arts administrator, if you're studying for arts administration, your focus is to figure out if that's what you want to do. Now we do have a thing called hide and seek. Literally, no pun intended. It's called the Hide and Seek Initiative to Community Stars. And what it is it gives you about 6 weeks to figure out what it is that you think you would best benefit from. And what it is you would take specific certain classes, and you don't have to do all the work, but you're just taking those classes to see if you fit more over here or over there. And then once you figure out what you are aligned to, then you will be set in the program. And then in the next year, yes, you have to wait because it only happens once a year. In the next year, you will be able to sign up. Now, the Hide and Seek Initiative is $1,200. Okay, and you're just basically playing around to see exactly where you fit. You may be interested in modeling, singing, and dancing, for example, but then you may find out that your strength is in none of those, that you're an arts administrator. Well, you can learn how to start your own agency or become someone's manager, or you could be working for an agency that would need help. Okay, all those kind of things. We are actually working, because I know it's going to happen. We are working on a scholarship program called the Travel Fund. The Travel Fund is actually going to be specifically for what it is. It is going to help those, let's say you're in, it's mainly for arts administrators. Let's say that you're from Chicago, but an agency in New York wants to hire you after the program. Okay, we would actually fund you for the travel, and then a couple months in until you got settled in, to where you would be able to make your own payments for your rent or whatever the case is. And that's what the travel fund is. But again, it's mainly for arts administrators, okay? Because we know that this is going to come up. It could be an agency that you work for. It could be that you're going to be working for a museum. You could be working for a gallery that maybe they need a program director. It could be anything, okay? So we're all about hands-on and getting it done. We're not about all the $80, $50, $60, $90,000, what I want to call the gimmicks of the modern day. I'm sorry, and I've graduated college to the highest degree, but there just comes a time that, you know, somebody has to step up and actually realize what is going on. And there are some that are really changing things around. They're making certification programs embedded with like mine or So that would help. And then they could just study arts administration. I'm seeing it happen. I'm actually researching because arts administration is actually becoming very big. But all these other degrees are kind of dwindling a bit, to be honest. They are. And I think they're only going to dwindle even more so as time goes on, folks. I'm not kidding. Just because people are realizing this. They enjoy the art and all that, but they don't want to be spending, they don't want to have the rest of their life in debt if they're not actually able to really recoup from it. Okay, you understand what I'm getting at? Unless you're an absolute buyout model, like similar to Ashraf Towsey, and you're probably getting $10,000 per day on a job, then yeah, you're probably, you're probably going to be in debt by the time you're done college. So that's why we have the Community Stars program, but we decided that we were going to totally just separate it. We're going to have some things listed on the slmta-agency.com website, but we're going to be linking you to the other appropriate websites because that's where you want to actually go to apply. Now, May 21st is when the launch of the info, the community-stars.info site will be launched on May 21st. That is because we are basically going to be taking about 3 weeks of $0 application fees. After that, the application fee is going to be $150. It will include your audition, and you're also going to have to, because everything's going to be done in a classroom type setting, you will be paying a couple of other little fees that you're probably aware of. If you've been to college, you know what I'm talking about, like online fees. And you will be most likely paying your orientation, but our orientation is literally going to be 3 hours for 1 day, but it will be $100 for the orientation, but it's added to the tuition. And again, we do have a 50% or up to 50% deduction. We also, for the tuition aid grant, but you're going to have to fall into either poverty or as far up as, I think as far as we're going is about 40,000. It's not much at all. It's extremely targeted right now until we can get more funds to collaborate with. But it's about 40 or 50,000 before it actually just cuts off completely. We are also going to be starting the SLMTA loan program. That will help you to where you can maybe stretch the payments out for 2 years, but it will be a 12.99% interest rate. We are doing, and we are going to also do personal sponsorships. We have a sponsorship package where if you're still not able to afford it, even after all the other things have been exhausted, we will give you a sponsorship packet. And what you could do is you could literally actually go and get your support team to actually sponsor, and depending on what sponsorship level they're at, they will be connected with us. We will take over everything from there. They will get the perks that they are signing up for. Okay, but so it's a 1-page document, and it's basically going to tell us which level they want to sign up for. And then we're going to go ahead and do that. And that will actually be their membership. we're going to use that as their membership, and they will get the perks on that level of membership. Anyone that sponsors you will be able to see your recitals free of charge. They will also be able to at least see your virtual performances at showcases free of charge. So all of that will be included. Also they're depending on the membership level for their sponsorship, they could actually be entitled to VIP perks as well. So, and even some free merchandise from the SLMTA community, definitely. Now, this also is for internationals. Now, I know that internationals is a different process. You have to have a specific visa for this. We're going to be researching that for you, so don't get too excited quite yet. However, it will be your responsibility to try to prove to us if you will be able to afford the education that you would be getting from Community Stars. All right. You would have to set that up and perhaps make sure that when you are applying, that you are actually providing us legitimate reason, and that you actually have a sponsor and everything is proven that the money is there and available for that. Okay. It is English spoken. If you need English related classes, we have resources where you can go to accomplish that. And then when you are done, then we will be able to accept you. All right. What else do we have? Community Stars is not going to be for everyone. All right. And I'm not saying this to be funny. There, you know how like when you go to college and you're like, I want to study music, and you find out, I don't, you know, I'm going to go to graphic design. So then you go to graphic design, right? That's kind of like how it is in college. Well, here, what I see is those who drop out. So in case if that does happen, we do have a refund policy, okay? The refund policy is a total tuition, especially if you are, and this is for money that has been paid by you, whether it is sponsors from you or what have you, because even it works the same way. The only thing that we could give you back is legitimate money that you paid in, okay? But if you're waiting 3 months into the program, I will tell you it will be too late. All right, by 3 months, you would actually know if you can continue this or not, or if it's going to be too much or what have you. Now, we have what we call a 3 strikes and you're out ordeal. You get 100% refund of any money that you paid in within the first week of actually starting the Community Stars program. After that, it actually dwindles to 50%. And then after 6 weeks in the program, it's 25%. And then again, 2 months later, it is 0%. So make sure that you're reading that policy very clearly, because it's not going to be hidden. It's going to be right there. We do have a refund policy, and it's only on money that you actually incur. Okay, meaning that you have sponsors who sponsored you, because they already sponsored you. And there's nothing that we could, and that would be the shameful part of the whole thing, is if you have those sponsored you, but then you're not actually able to pay, say you need $1,500, so you got 10 equal payments of 150 and you're not able to pay that, and that's why you're giving up. We could work with you on that. Even if it sounds like we are not able to, we have a loan program and it would equal out at 12.99% interest, but that's on the annual percentage. So that would be 12.99, okay, for this year, unless you're going to stretch it out to 2 years, then we would actually have to just do it 1,500 times 12.99%, and then see where it leaves you off come next year to actually get it all paid off. All right. But the thing is that it's there. But then if you go down that route, it does become debt. You see what I'm getting at? If you're able to pay ahead, then pay ahead. But if you don't want to deal with the loan scenario, then just be on time. But even still, we can help you with that if it's like something where you're having a hard time. But to give up the whole program over 1,500 and then assuming that you're going to get 4,000 back, that's not how the system is working. It's money that you paid in. That's the refund that you're going to get back. Because we can't get back granted funds, and not that late into the game anyway. Okay. I've talked about a 6-week hide and seek program. That would be the one that I would suggest. That one actually does also include a photo shoot, but it's more or less like a test photo shoot that it includes. And what will happen is we would see how you make it through the actual not the program, but through what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a model or a singer or what have you, we're going to see through those 6 weeks how you turn up. Now, excuse me. Now, after the 6 weeks, if you want to continue with the program, because the 6 weeks is actually a partial program plan, just without certain things, we will actually be able to take half of that 1,200 and subtract it from your tuition bill. And then you can actually start right where you finish. All right. However, you would not qualify for sponsorship packaging or tuition aid grant on 1,200. This is only for like things that are $2,000 or more. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, 3,000 or more is what the other thing would be. So MAI convention, it's a 10-week training component. If you don't want community stars, what we will have is during our winter session and during the spring session, we have a specific thing just for 10 weeks of training related to MAI, okay, which is like what their criteria and everything is. All right. We would be utilizing that period for that. We don't know what the total cost is going to be on that yet because things haven't been updated to us yet to determine that. So we will be waiting on that and So that's all I can say right now. But what I will tell you is that it would definitely qualify for tuition aid grant. It needed to be, but it will be under stricter targets. It would be poverty only. So if the household income of the adult is like 25, 30,000 or less, then you would be able to get it. And it's actually at 30%, not 50%. But you can get a sponsorship package. Because it's not going to be as expensive as the tuition program with Community Stars. Community Stars can get up to about, well, for modeling, it's probably the most inexpensive, and fine artists. Well, we would be, well, fine artists could get expensive too, because if they want to do more than just learn how to make jewelry, for each additional thing that they adding to their plate is going to be $1,200. So it just, you know, it will depend on that. But modeling's about, you know, close to 7 or so. It could be about 7,500 by the time like the other fees are added, like the online class fees and that kind of thing. Because we're going with Blackboard, and Blackboard is allowing us a license for so long, and it has its own criterias and revelations that we have to, you know, deal with. And then last but not least, yeah, I think I told you this already. So tuition could range anywhere from 7,000 to 15, depending on what program that you are developing. I will tell you though, the Master Stars program is closer to the 15 and can go up to 22,000. But it's a 2-year program and it's split into 1-year segments. But you are also being asked to be booked. Now, not some bookings could be paid, some may not. It really just depends, and it depends on like what you are doing. Like for fine art, so it's going to be more or less working with museums and things like that. So you may land a job in a museum, you may land a job, you know, that kind of thing, at an art gallery or something. You want to make sure that for Master Stars program, it's actually we have a whole specific program, but most of it is really about hands-on, pertaining to really just strictly pertaining to performance. So think of it as you going to college, and then all of us, and you know, the bachelor's degree basically state, so you have room to play around with, right? Well, I'll start with this degree, I'll take this class, see if I like it, or deal, all right? But if you don't like that, you could change your degree, right? Well, in a master program, if you studied arts administration in your bachelor's and you liked it, in the master's program, you are really looking at the thesis, the actual main purpose of your program. And so that's what Master Stars is like what your master purpose is of being a musician, being a model, or whatever the case may be. And you actually working a plan out and taking that action. And if you have a booking or we're asking you to do an audition and you do not attend it, it does count as points against your grade. So it is something, it is a very interesting program, but if you, there is no other way, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If you're the lazy type where you're like, I will do this when I'm ready, you're probably not going to survive the program. All right. And this is for pros that I'm talking about. Like if you're an agency claiming that you got pro models that have went through your training program and they are not able to master what they are doing, oh, that is the most horrible thing that you could do, because it just sets a bad mark. So, and this program is really designed for certification, which is something that I'm working with the right departments to actually figure out about the licensing for it. But so far, what I know is that I have to have a successful class and that they have to graduate. So in the meantime, that doesn't mean that we can't give the certification for what you are doing and certify you. It's, you know, it won't look as important if it's not accredited, if that makes sense. And so that's going to be the process that we're going to be doing. And it will be you guys that will make it happen. But you got to make sure that you are ready to do this. All right. Now, what's your chances of being booked in the master's program? Probably a whole lot better than the Community Stars program, because when there is an audition, the first thing that's going to happen is if they ask for inexperienced. Now, I'm not saying that you're inexperienced, so I don't want you to judge me when I say that. So if a client asks for an inexperienced model, we would most likely be asking you guys as pros first, not because you're inexperienced, but because you have more of the experience, but you have the experience from where you were developed, okay, from that training agency, but you were not, but you did not have like the actual bookings, if that makes sense. So now you're actually doing resume building. At this point, it's all about resume building, auditioning, and networking when you're in a master's club. All right. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's probably not cheap for some of you, but it's also, and by the way, if you did want to do convention with the program, you can. It's already included in there, just in case if you did not want to do convention in there, then we would actually just reward you after the program. That would be a grant going back to you to either, if you're in arts administration, to either start your own thing or to do, or just whatever, because we will not keep money that is not needed. We keep the money that is needed. All right. There are some folks that probably don't like the idea of how I just said that, but the truth of the matter is SLMTA does honest business. We don't do crooked business. So we also have to be fair to those who are actually doing all the training. I mean, we got some really good mentors and all of that are going to be in training. And that is all they're all going to be about. So, I mean, it's going to be an awesome thing. All workshops and all that are already included. They're embedded throughout the program, so you don't have to worry about that. I've told you about the tuition. I told you about this, where you're going to apply. Now, if you apply later than July 31st, you can only apply the first week of August. And if you apply, it's going to literally say that the full deposit must be paid up front. Okay, so I have to advise you right there. If you are applying between May 21st or on May 21st to say 3 weeks in, then you have through June, July, and then up to August 18th, the latest, to actually get the deposit. And it's 30% of what the tuition bill is. Now, that has to be paid before any other type of sponsorship or whatever comes in. We can do a special sponsorship audit if you'd like, where if you sign up early enough, you would be able to get the sponsors to help you actually pay for your 30% deposit. But if not, then it's on your own. Otherwise, you would be booted from the program and you have to wait a year to reapply. Now, if you fail, not if you fail the audition, if you don't pass the audition, you'd have to wait 2 years to reapply. And we would suggest that you try to train yourself enough to do. See, the audition that we're looking for is, can you introduce yourself? Do you know how to present yourself in a picture? Can you pose right? If you could pass those few little things, then you would be making it into the model program. All right. But if you're gonna give me bedtime looks, or like you're there in your prom picture looking away or whatever, and it's not the right poses, you would even be lucky if we even want to see the application, but we would have to, because it was sent. But understand that application fees are non-refundable. So don't just give us any kind of a picture. This is you wanting to get accepted into the program. So you want to treat it as such. You want to treat it as you want to be accepted, not I'll just do this, because then you're going to just be throwing money out there where you don't need to be throwing it. If you're going to waste your time, then I don't want you to be wasting hours. Okay, if that makes sense. And it's a lot of money at stake. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of money at stake, but you're going to be getting a full program, list program. It don't matter, even as an arts administrator, you still actually get photo shoots. I know it sounds funny, but it is true. You would be kind of doing more of the corporate type photo shoots, but you're getting the photo shoots, okay? So photo shoots are included in everybody's package. You're not getting away from being in front of a camera, just so that you are aware. And I mean, you've already paid for it, so what's the fun in it? Now, for example, if you go to the Miami photo shoot, okay, the Miami photo shoot we know it's going to be 4 days, but if you want to extend the time or whatever, that's why we don't really include travel on that, unless we actually know that you're only going for the duration of our thing, because that's what our insurance covers. It does not cover you to go on vacation. So if you decide that you're going on vacation and that you are there, then you have to let us know that. Yeah, so there you go. That is a lot about the Community Stars program. There is a There was a lot that I've discussed tonight, but I honestly really do believe that it was well worth my time to be able to explain this to you guys, because it's a lot. And at the same time, there's a lot of fun with it. Now, there are certain things that are happening now that you're going to get a little lucky on. If you decide that you're going to go on the Miami photo shoot, but you've signed up for the Community Stars program, then if you pay the $950 by June 11th, then you just have to worry about the $1,000 or whatever. And I'm talking on the modeling perspective of 30%. I don't know who's going to apply for what, but I know that there are several people that want to apply to be a model, or that to apply for the modeling department. There's, I think, 2 that want to apply for the design department, which is within the beauty concierge division. What else do I have to say? Yeah, so that will save you a little bit. But also, if you're one of those that want to join the contest just to see where it goes, then you might actually win yourself out of and join Community Stars for free. Because everything that Community Stars has to offer, the only thing that it probably would not include completely is SLMTA representation. But we can always roll that out after the program, you know. But yeah, I mean, if you get the chance at that, because you're already going to be getting, instead of just having a makeup and hairstylist and a fashion spread, you will actually be going through everything that leads to that, but you'll also be getting that. So we will, that's something that has not been stated, but I'm bringing it up right now. Also, those of you that join the program, okay, join the contest, so $150 will go off of your tuition. So whatever you do with SL Models and Talent Agency to go into Community Stars, it will come off of your tuition. It's not going to be in addition to. It's just that we have different programs to kind of feel people out, but also to see what is out there. We want, because we are looking for actual models too. So while the training program is doing its thing, we are also, as an agency, still going to be doing our thing. Okay. We will be hiring recruiters for the Community Stars program, and how it actually works. Yes, it is commission based. There is no other way around, but with a potential of higher bonuses. And how it's going to work is simply this. There's a part of the program where people will apply, and then there's a part where people will actually comply. What does that mean? The people that actually apply is how the recruiters are going to get paid. All right. And what we are going to do is they will get a specific percentage of what the application fee is, but they will be able to guide them through the process up to the orientation dates. Okay. Like have this student feeling comfortable and whatnot. It's kind of like a referral, but a little bit more work to it. And then if one recruiter is able to actually find up to 10 people to apply per week, there will be a bonus. Yeah, I have a bonus structure set up. So this is about what you can do. It's not about me sitting there saying, I'm going to give you that. and then nothing comes about it. I've tried that role already, and that's kind of where it got me to this day, and I don't trust it. So I have to do it the way that I see fit when I'm hiring recruiters. Now, 9 times out of 10, a lot of our recruiters will most likely either end up being pro models, musicians, what have you, who are already big in the industry. And they're okay with making a little extra cash. So that's probably who we would end up asking, not the random person that thinks that they understand the industry and then turns around and doesn't know how to talk to someone. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind, in the back of your mind, when I actually get that started, my legs starting to kick up again, because I'm not sitting straight up, in case you're wondering. And so my posture is a little bit more relaxed tonight. But when my leg is a certain way, it will get cramped up and all that. So yeah, so I want to bring that to your attention. And we are having the contest. The contest is really not that bad. There are more prizes than what's listed on the flyer too. In fact, anyone that makes it to the top 100 will actually get representation from SLMTA if you want it. That's if you want it, okay? Our fashion spreads are going to start at about top 10, okay? But the full package with a prize package, which is not even listed, but I think, let me just double check. I might have to look through my phone. Hold on 1 second. Okay. It says enter the 5,000 prize package, but actually what was supposed to have happened was enter to win. It was supposed to be prize package should have been listed with the bullet point, and then enter to win 5,000. Because what we're doing is, and it may even be more than that, but like I said, I don't do things with high expectations. I don't. So you're going to be the first to hear this. Right now, what we have is where there's no double voting, and there's going to be up to, I think it's 100,000 entries per month. It should be enough for what I'm trying to do. And I'm thinking, because I was already told that there's actually quite a few agencies already on board, and a few others are actually asking about it. So if you're an agency wondering about this contest and want an additional spark to your pro models or whatever, this is their chance to actually make something happen. I would say have them submit. But it is going to be a real contest, okay? Which means that if you make it to the top 100, now you're in the season. So you're going to be asked not to submit more money, but you're going to be asked to submit other things for the world to vote via text message or polls, because we need to know we're going to be knocking half of y'all off. So they're going to be the top 50. So we're going to start with top 100 and then go to the top 50. That's how we're going to do that. But, you know, if you don't make it, okay. If you do, that's fine. There's going to be agencies. This is probably going to be one of the biggest exposure moments that SLMTA has. And this is worldwide. This is not just, you know, here in America. We are prepared for everything and anything. We had everything already set up, so ready to go. The only thing is that the platform that I originally had, it had glitches all over the place. And then finally I killed the glitches and then found out that there were particular things that I had to add into it. And I was like, no, I can't do that. So now I'm actually going to be copying what I have from one platform to put on the other platform. And as I was watching the videos and researching, they are doing pretty well. With that being said, anyone that would like us to set up a competition for them, we now have the means to do it. Okay, but it is going to cost some money. I'm not going to lie about it. You're going to have to invest in it. If you're an agency that is looking to run a competition, then it's going to be at the bare minimum, it is going to be costly, probably about $200 per month at the bare minimum. Okay. But there are some agencies where they're partnering, you know, with other places to do certain things. That's fine. We can also do the partnership with agencies that they want to actually do, because this is more of a sophisticated. This is kind of like actually going to a voting booth and actually putting your vote in, almost kind of an ordeal. They monitor IP addresses and all that. So no, you cannot vote for the same person every day. It is one vote. And what happens is everybody that submits actually submits to their category. And then they actually have a website, a domain to them that they can use and ask people, hey, come vote for me. Like, but you have to have a good following for it to successfully happen. You got to do the work. We will not accept buyouts either. What I mean by that, do not try to buy your votes. There are people out there. I mean, I'm even investigating actual votes that are happening with legitimate contests. And I could tell when people are buying them and when they're not, even without even knowing if they are. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by that? Simply, not because they have an automatic jump in what the votes are. That doesn't mean anything, because they could have a big following. But it would question me. That would be the first thing that would question me, because if they got, say, 500 friends on a Facebook and 200 in an Instagram, and they got like 900 votes, then either they bought them or it's a system that allows the same people to vote over and over and over again. Well, with us, it's a little bit more sophisticated. You get to vote for someone, and you can only vote like one time, but you can vote under the specific categories. So where you would vote more than one time would be the difference between say the beauty queen and beauty king, okay? Or like the top model or universal model. And by the way, universal model is what you want to win on. But it's going to take a whole lot of work. You're going to have to really push the season along to be able to get to universal model. All right. But that's all I have for you for tonight. I hope that you enjoyed the show. I hope that this was a little bit, the answer to questions that you had on Community Stars. I answer all the questions about the contest tomorrow night. It shouldn't be anywhere near as long as this one tonight. It's gonna be about the contest though, and all. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for you guys. So, and it's ready to be launched on May 1st. So I'll talk to you all soon. If you have any other questions though, you can put them in the comment section down below, and I'll get to them in the next recording. And do not forget to subscribe at our YouTube channel, SL Models and Talent Agency LLC. Share with your friends as well. We're going to be having a lot of things. Trivia shows are going to be coming up. We're going to be actually advertising that soon. So be ready for that. If you want to participate, let me know. You can win prizes as well. That's about all that I have. Do not forget to support the community stars, the SLMTA community, excuse me, at our Patreon account, patreon.com/SLMTA. And for as little as only $5 per month, you can help someone along the way in their educational needs. Thank you very much and have a wonderful and blessed evening.